This is a Flying Cow production.
Well, hello, and welcome back to Movie Battles, where we take the very best in Disney, Pixar movie trivia, and we put them head to head here on the Flying Cow. My name is Clay Johnson, the Flying Cow himself, and today I have here with me the sensational one, Sorsha Masters. How are we doing today, Sorsha?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. Can you tell I was trying to figure out what I was going to say as I was saying?
I could tell. It's like, oh, we're freestyling today. That's fun.
Yeah. I had that Jerry Stiller energy going, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't remember my lines, but I'm
works.
still going. Absolutely. But I have to say, it is great to be here with you today because we have our final round one tournament match here today between the Mad Madam, Kelli Mehan, and the cooler, Chris Diaz. Been looking forward to this match for a while. Glad to finally be able to get it underway.
I'm very excited to see what these guys do. I think I called Kelly's last match, and
first match, yeah.
She is quite a competitor, and I know Chris also has a heavy amount of knowledge as well, so I'm very excited to see what happens.
Yeah, Chris was honestly only narrowly defeated by the party monster, Pardis Jesse Dawson. So, definitely no slouch when it comes to Disney trivia. So I am excited to see what these two competitors can do here today.
Definitely.
All right. Well, let us go ahead and before we introduce our competitors, got a couple of things to say. First of all, the format for this show is sourced from the Movie Trivia Schmodown. So if you enjoy this and would like to see more, go check them out at theschmodownlive.com and let them know that the cow sent you. Also, do not forget that we are not just movie battles. The Flying Cow also has a podcast feed. Over there on the podcast feed, you can listen to podcasts about television and movies. We are doing a deep dive on the best films of 1994 right now. We're going to be picking our best once we get to the end of that. So it's called The Academy. It's a lot of fun. Go check that out. You can find that on Google Play, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And also, if you want to get in contact with us, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at The Flying Cow Pod. You can also email us at theflyingcowpod@gmail.com. All right. Well, I think that we have put this off long enough. It is time to introduce these competitors. What do you say, Sorsha?
I say let's do it. And don't forget to mention that if people can't remember everything.
Oh, yeah.
Banner.
On the banner. Very good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, let us go ahead and introduce these competitors. Introducing first, representing whatever he wants, with a record of 0 wins and 1 defeat, he is the cooler, Chris Diaz. How we doing today, Chris?
Doing pretty good. Here to play some Disney Pixar, but I love it to death. And I've been playing a lot in Finland, so this is fun.
Absolutely. It is great to have you back here. We haven't seen you since your match here with Pardis. How are you feeling today in this first round match, matched up with the Mad Madam, Kelli Mehan?
I'm here to have fun. Kelly is a great player. Like, when I lose, it's to be fun. I just love Disney and everything. So even if I lose today, I'd rather lose against a good player as always. And Kelly, one of the best players there is.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely looked good so far. So we will have to see how the two of you do today. So why don't we go ahead and introduce your competitor and his opponent. Here she is, coming in with a record of 1 win, no defeats, and 1 knockout. She is the Mad Madam, Kelli Mehan.
Did you give me Mad Tea Party music?
I did.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I should have said representing the Tea Party. Well, no, actually, I don't like that because that's
Please don't.
But anyway, either way, yeah, some great music for you today. And for a great competitor, I gotta say, we are all excited to see what is gonna happen here today. I know you've only played 1 match, but just so you know, you've really already taken the league by storm. We had a tournament special where we talked about each one of these matches. And I will say that everyone had you in the final.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, I hope that's not too much stress. But
it's a bit of pressure. Now I got something
Sure.
to live up to.
But I mean, what do you think with that kind of that kind of thought going into this match? What do you think about that?
Well, I'm really flattered because there's a lot of really strong competitors in this league. So I'm just always going to enjoy playing with other people who really love Disney. So that's just the way I'm going to take it. Just going to put my love of Disney first and foremost, try not to think about the pressure and just take it a question at a time.
Absolutely. Sounds like a good plan. Well, obviously, those were just predictions. You never know what's going to happen, but I am very excited to get into this match today. So let's go ahead and let's get Chris back in here. All right. So Chris coming to us today from the surface of the sun, looking very bright today.
Very bright, very yellow.
Absolutely. I can only think of it as a distraction tactic. He's trying to blind Kelli before the match even starts. But why don't we go ahead and bring up the rules for round number 1? All right. In round number 1, 8 questions from random categories will be given to all competitors. Competitors will have 15 seconds to write down each answer. Answers must be spoken aloud when revealing your response. All questions in this round are worth 1 point. If either competitor gets all 8 questions correct, they will have a perfect round and receive a 1-point bonus question. Competitors also have 3 repeats that they can use throughout the match. So if you need to hear a question again, or you just need a little bit more time, use your repeats. Also, competitors will have a challenge that they can use throughout the match. If at any point you disagree with a ruling, you can challenge, state your case, and if we agree, if your challenge is upheld, then you will keep your challenge. There is no stealing in this round. All right, so are there any questions going into round number 1?
No.
All right, then if our competitors are ready. All right, and Sorsha, are you ready?
Very, let's do it.
All right, well, I don't know about you guys, but I feel ready for a movie battle. Action begin. All right, and we're gonna start with round number 1. Question number 1 only makes sense. In the category of early classics. These are, of course, the films of the 30s and the early 40s. And your question. In Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, what song does Snow White sing when the dwarves ask her to tell them a story? This is another one of those films that I actually saw in the theater on a re-release when I was like 5.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, I know that there's streaming and there's home video and everything, but I kind of miss the re-releases every few years. I would really enjoy
They
having
did the
those come
70th
back.
for Cinderella last year. It was wonderful.
Yeah, that'd be in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, Chris, we are starting with you, sir.
Thank you, Joe Vasquez, for catching me in a video. But someday my prince will come.
Someday my prince will come is correct. And Kelly.
Someday my prince will come.
Someday my prince will come. All right. So our competitors are tied at 1 going into round number 2. They're perfect so far.
All right, question number 2. We're still in round number 1, Clay. Question number 2.
Question number 2, not round 2. Question 2.
Question number 2 is in the category of the Renaissance, mostly films of the 1990s. Your question. The Hunchback of Notre Dame takes place in what European country? Favorite movie.
Really? Hunchback of Notre Dame. You're not the only person I've heard say that. I know a few people that feel the same way. I like it. It's definitely not my favorite, but I enjoy it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
All right, Kelly, we are going to start with you.
France.
France is correct. And Chris?
France.
France is correct. So
All
we
right.
are still tied at 2 and 2.
They're still perfect. Going into question number 3. In the category of the dark times. These are the films of the 2000s. And your question. Disney's Dinosaur was released in what year? That classic Dinosaur. See, this one I could do without being re-released in theaters.
I keep forgetting it was Disney, but I saw this in theaters.
Although, it actually did very well in the box office for them.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
In
So much so
5,
that they remodeled a ride
4,
for it.
3, 2, and 1. All right, Chris, we are starting with you, sir.
Yeah, I remember seeing this theater, 2000.
2000 is correct. And Kelly?
2000.
All right. Still tied at 3 apiece going into question number 4.
Question number 4 is in the category of Pixar. Lewis Black provides the voice for which emotion in Inside Out?
Inside Out, I think. If it's not my favorite, it's like tied with like Coco and, like Monsters Inc. is always like, I started watching like a bit of Monsters Inc. and I was like, oh, this one's so good. It's hard. In 5.
It is.
4, 3, 2, and 1.
All right, Kelly, we are going to start with you.
Anger.
Anger is correct. And Chris?
And that's a movie 3 times in theater. Anger.
Anger is
Right.
also correct. So we are still tied at 4 apiece.
All right, going into question number 5, which is in the category of the decline and wilderness. These are the films of the 60s through the 80s. And your question. In The Jungle Book, what finally convinces Mowgli to go back to the man village?
How specific you want it to be?
I mean, it doesn't have to be super specific. Just a word or two if you really need it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. And Chris, we're starting with you.
I've almost tempted to put the girl name for the film, but I just had to go he saw.
Girl is sufficient. All right. And
I've almost tempted to
Kelly.
put the sequence.
He sees a girl from the village.
Yep. It's that girl.
Yeah.
That
What is her name, like Donji?
mischievous little girl that drops the jar of water. Oops, I dropped it.
Mhm.
I think her name was Donji, I think, from Jungle Book 2. That were like, what was the name from
Oh,
Jungle
okay.
Book 2?
Yeah. I did not see Jungle Book 2, nor do I intend to.
Nope.
All right. So our
Okay.
contestants are still perfect. 5 and 5 going into question number 6.
Let's see if it sticks, because here's everybody's favorite category. Question number 6 is package films of the 1940s. Which package film used to begin with the controversial short, The Martins and the Coys?
Yeah, package
can-
films.
I cannot recall if I've seen this one.
Now, I mean, I will say that short, The Martins and the Coys, can still be found on YouTube. So, I mean, I'm not asking questions about that short specifically in this question, just the movie that it comes from.
So, where'd it come from?
In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
All right, Kelly, we are going to start with you.
It's also on the DVD, Make My Music.
It is. Oh, I didn't know that. That's good
I
to
didn't know
Chris.
that, but Make My
Make My
Music is
Music.
correct.
Make my music.
All right.
Uh,
Very.
wow.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe I've got an old DVD.
Maybe. I will say it's not on my copy, but I got a digital one. So, all right. So both players are still perfect going into question number 7, and that is in the category of classics, the films of the 1950s. And your question: in Disney's Peter Pan, which hand is Captain Hook's hook hand?
Now that is a question where you really have to pay attention to details.
Absolutely. And I will say it's a bit of a thinker.
I only thinking of this because of that was Hook recently for a deep cut.
All right, so we're gonna find out what we got in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Chris,
I hope it right hands because I remember Hook.
right hand is incorrect. Kelly,
I put right as well.
it is actually his left.
Left.
It is his right in the book. However, they changed it for all visual mediums. In fact, there's a line where John is holding the hook in the right hand, and Wendy walks by and says, "The left, John."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, that question falls both of our competitors. Neither one are going to get a perfect round, but they're still doing very well going into the final question of round number 1.
Yes, your final question is in the category of CG Revolution, the 2010s. Who provided the voice for Nick Wilde in Zootopia?
What a wild question that is.
You did not just go there.
I did. I fought the urge for like 2 seconds, but there it is.
You didn't fight hard enough, Clay.
No, I did not. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Oh, okay, Kelly, we're gonna start with you.
Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman is correct. And Chris?
Many-time Emmy nomination, Jason Bateman for Ozark.
Jason
All
Bateman
right.
is correct.
All right. So, yeah, like I said, both contestants did very well in round number 1. Both only missed the classics question, which admittedly was tricky. 50-50 shot, but you know, that's what you got. But they're tied at 7 apiece going into round number 2. So let us go ahead and bring up the rules for round number 2. In round number 2, each competitor will have the opportunity to spin the wheel up to 2 times. If you do not like your first spin, you can always spin again. Unless, of course, you land on opponent's choice, at which point you will automatically get whatever your opponent chooses for you. Competitors will get 4 questions from their category. Questions in this round are worth 2 points. Multiple choice is an option in this round. However, if you use it, the value of the question will drop to 1 point. Competitors will have 15 seconds to answer each question. Opponents may steal if a competitor gives an incorrect response. Repeats and challenges are still in effect in this round. Are there any questions going into round number 2?
Nope.
All right. Well, we are tied. However, Kelly, you came in as the favorite, so you have a decision to make. Would you like to spin first, or would you like to defer to Chris?
I would defer, please.
All right. So Kelly is going to defer to Chris. So let's bring this wheel up for him. All right. So Chris, can you see the wheel?
Yes.
All right. So Chris, this spin is for you. And you have landed on package films.
Spin
Would you
again.
like to keep? You're going to spin again? He's giving me that signal. All right. We're going to spin again. All right. Let's see if we
only
can get
remember
something a
one
little bit
package
more
film.
favorable this time. And you have landed on classics.
Oh, wait. I should do,
Classics.
okay.
So the films of the 1950s. Unfortunately, the category that both competitors missed in round 1, but that is okay. Not all of these questions are going to be about Captain Hook's hand. Some of them are going to be about his foot. So, all right.
Maybe his eyes.
Yeah, something like that. All right. So you are going to get 4 questions in the category of classics, the films of the 1950s. And I am going to read those questions for you. Are you ready, Chris?
Mhm.
All right. Then let us go ahead and start off with question number 1. And your question. In Peter Pan, aside from his glasses, John often has 2 items with him, a top hat and what?
Umbrella.
Umbrella is correct for 2 points. All right. Going into question number 2. In Lady and the Tramp, what are the names given to Lady's human owners?
Multiple choice, just to be safe.
I'm sorry?
Multiple choice, just to be safe.
Multiple choice?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, you're just cutting out. All right, so your multiple choice options are, is it A, John and Marcia? B, Jim Dear and Darling? C, Honey and Sweetheart? Or D, Dear and Sweetie?
B.
B, Jim Dear and Darling is correct for 1 point.
Yeah, happy. I remember Dolly, but I wanted to be just safe. That one was
Sure.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's never a bad idea. Never a bad idea. All right. So let's get right into your penultimate question in the category of classics. In Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Hatter is voiced by what Disney legend?
Multiple choice.
All right. And those options are, is it A, Pinto Colvig, B, Keenan Wynn, C, Sterling Holloway, or D, Edwin?
C.
I'm sorry?
C.
You say C is in cat?
Yeah.
C is in cat. Sterling Holloway is incorrect. So, Kelly, you're going to get the opportunity to steal. So let me repeat that question for you. In Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Hatter is voiced by what Disney legend? Is it A, Pinto Colvig, B, Keenan Wynn, C, Sterling Holloway, or D, Edwin?
D, Edwin.
D, Edwin is correct for a 1-point
That was my
steal.
second guess. I was between two in my head. I'm like, which one is right?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a toughie there.
Yeah.
So let's you are currently in the lead 10-8, up by 2, going into the final question in round number 2 for Chris. In Sleeping Beauty, which of the fairy characters wears green?
Bonner.
Fauna is correct for 2 points.
Huge redemption
All right.
after my last
I was
match.
about to say, because the last time you were here, you could not remember Fauna. So yes, with that, Chris is now in the lead 12-8 at the end of his round 2. So let us bring up the wheel and see what round 2 has in store for Kelly. All right, Kelly, can you see the wheel?
I sure can.
All right, then, Kelly, this spin is for you. All right, looking for something good, but it's not going to be classics again, so we're going to give you a free spin there. All right. All right, so with your first spin, you've landed on package films. Apparently, the wheel likes package films today. Do you like it, or would you like to spin again?
I'll spin again.
All right, so we are going to spin that wheel one more time. Whatever it lands on this time is going to be the category, and you have landed on mixed bag. So this is, going to be some of the films that aren't in any other category and a couple of other things. We'll just have to see. All right. So Kelly is going to get 4 questions in the category of mixed bag. And these questions are going to come from the sensational one herself, Sorsha Masters.
All right, Kelly, your first question for round 2. What is the subtitle for the DuckTales movie?
Multiple choice.
All right, we are going with multiple choice. And those options are, is it A, Scrooge's Quest, B, Raiders of the Lost Nest, C, Treasure of the Lost Lamp, or D, the Temple, oh God, there's such a bad glare, the Temple of Canard, A la Orange.
Orange.
A la Orange. C is correct. It broke up so weird on my screen. It's like, why are there so many spaces?
All right. So
All right.
Kelly brings it within 3.
All right. Question number 2. What 1998 film bore the tagline, "The flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all"?
Mulan.
Mulan is correct for 2 points. All right. Question number 3, your penultimate question. In The Nightmare Before Christmas, what are the names of the 3 mischievous trick-or-treaters who work for Oogie Boogie?
Shock, Lock, and Barrel.
Shock, Lock, and Barrel is correct.
right, and with that, Kelly takes a 1-point lead going into her final question.
All right, your final question. Released in 2000, what was the 40th Disney animated release?
The Emperor's New Groove.
The Emperor's New Groove is correct for 2 points.
No hesitation. Just knew it off the top of her head. I gotta admire
Something
that.
tells me she's a fan of that movie.
Absolutely. All right. So with that, Kelly takes a 3-point lead, 15-12, going into the third and final round. So let us bring up the rules for that round. All right. In round number 3, competitors will pick 3 numbers ranging from 1 to 20 that correspond to 3 random categories. Each competitor will get 3 questions. Questions in this round are worth 2, 3, and 5 points respectively. Competitors will have 15 seconds to answer each question. There will be no stealing or multiple choice in this round. Repeats and challenges are still in effect. Do we have any questions going into round number 3?
Good game so far. Good game.
All right. All right. So, Kelly, since you currently have a 3-point lead, you get to give your numbers first. What 3 sound good to you?
What were the numbers between, sorry, again?
Oh, sorry, 1 and 20.
Okay. 14, 6, 18.
14, 6, and 18. All right. Chris, you can choose any other numbers.
5, 2, and 9. Close to my birthday.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was that first one?
5.
5. Okay, so 5, 2, and
2.
9.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 5, 2, and 9. All right. So, Chris, you are currently down by 3. So you get the opportunity to answer your questions first. We're going to try to avoid this TKO and knock it back to Kelly to answer some questions. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Chris, for your 2-point question, you chose number 5.
Yeah.
And that relates to the category of directors. All right. So for your 2-point question, to bring it within 1, who directed Monsters, Inc.?
Pete Docter.
Pete Docter is correct for 2 points. All right. So that brings you, like I said, within 1. Its score is currently 15-14 in Kelly's favor.
Also redemption after round 3, where I had a Monster Inc. present in the last match.
Well, there you go. There you go. All right. So that brings you now to your 3-point question. You chose number 2, and that relates to the category of classics. Okay. Films of the 1950s. And your question. What are the names of Cinderella's stepsisters?
Drizella and Anastasia.
Drizella and Anastasia are correct. So with that, Chris avoids the TKO and takes a 2-point lead, 17-15 over Kelli. So Kelli has the opportunity to tie it up with her 2-point question.
All right. Kelli, you chose the number 14, and that relates to the category of princesses. Which princess sings "A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes"?
Cinderella.
Cinderella is correct for 2 points.
I love how they both tied to the question I had before.
So we are now tied at 17-17.
All right, going into the 3-point question.
All right. In Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, whose pie do we see Snow White preparing?
Grumpy.
Grumpy is correct for your 3
Good job.
points.
All right, so with that, Kelli takes a 3-point lead, 20-17, which is going to force Chris to answer his 5-point question. All right, so Chris, if you get this correct, then you will send it back to Kelli to have her answer her 5. However, if you miss, then Kelli will win this match. All right. So for your 5-point question, you chose number 9, and that relates to the category of mixed bag.
All right.
Okay. And your question for 5 points. Who provided the voice of Roxanne's best friend, Stacy, in a Goofy movie?
Right. We had to go back to the same question and laugh.
In 5.
Repeat.
4. Okay, so that is your first repeat. And that question in mixed bag. Who provided the voice of Roxanne's best friend, Stacy, in a Goofy movie?
I do use my repeat again.
Okay, second repeat. Okay, you've got 1 left. 5-point question. Who provided the voice of Roxanne's best friend, Stacy, in a Goofy movie? In 5.
How many repeat I had
4.
left?
You've got 1 left.
I do use my last one.
2. All right, we're going to use that last repeat. All right. And your 5-point question in mixed bag. Who provided the voice of Roxanne's best friend, Stacy, in a Goofy movie?
Kelly, congratulations. Jennifer Jason Lee. That's my random guess.
And your winner, the Mad Madam, Kelli Mehan. The correct answer we were looking for is Jenna Von Oy.
Yeah, I would
Jenna
have told
Von
that.
Oy.
I would between a bunch of like Jennifer Kelly, Kara Strong, but going to every right after my head.
Yeah, definitely a tough one. You know, sometimes that's where the 5s are, and they can just be hard to pull. All right, well, great match from both of you. I'm gonna have you guys go ahead and turn off your cameras, and we will bring you back in just a second. Wow, that was quite the match.
It was.
I've got to say, Chris really impressed me in this match. I mean, you know, unfortunately, didn't pull out the victory, but really showed himself, was toe to toe with Kelli in round number 1. Did, pretty well with his round number 2. And then he got his 2 and his 3, and then that 5 just a little deeper than he was able to go. But let's go ahead and bring Chris back in here to talk about this match. Chris, how we doing, buddy?
I'm feeling good. I should probably next time we do another one of these go over the Goofy movie voice cast, because it's coming back to bite me every time.
Yeah. I mean, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, last time you missed on a Goofy movie question.
Yeah, with the voice
another
of
Goofy movie voice actor. Yeah. So you need to go through that voice cast, man.
IMDb, man.
Yeah. And I love a Goofy movie. Just like I think of Roxanne, I think everybody else, don't think of her best friend that much.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why it's a 5-pointer. It's side character you don't think about as much. So that voice actor might not be the first thing that you think of.
I was almost prepared to think you were doing ask about Matt's best friend, the one that
Yeah. But I mean, I gotta say, Chris, like I said, even in defeat, you played very well. I think this was actually even a better showing than your last match.
Thank you.
I think that this was a really strong match for you today. So definitely nothing to be upset about. So, unfortunately, this is the end of your season. This is the end of your tournament. But I'm curious, going into next season, is there anybody that you've seen play that you might be interested in, taking a chance against? Anybody that you think you can get that win against?
There are a lot of people, depending on how the Daria match go, I'd be interested in becoming, I have been toe to toe with Disney in the past, especially with Full Metal a long time. And Karen Potts, I just judged her totally. I would love to get my revenge on the one who beat me the first time.
On Pardis?
Yeah, Pardis. Kelli, I should wait and build up my win. I'd love to play again in the future, but it was a great match. Kelli, congratulations. I knew I was going to a tough battle with one of the best players here, and you gave me a good match to play again. Yeah.
All right. Well, like I said, thanks again, Chris. We definitely look forward to seeing what you're going to do next season.
Thanks.
All right. Well, let us go ahead and bring in today's winner, the Mad Madam herself, Kelli Mehan. How are you feeling, Kelli? That's 2 in a row for you. You're 2-0.
Yeah, feeling great, but still, like, Chris played so well. Like, I really did not know how that match was going to turn out as it was going on. So just all the props in the world to him.
Yeah, I mean, the way you guys were slugging it out in round number 1, I was like, am I going to have to get my sudden death questions ready?
I thought it might be going to sudden death.
Yeah, that's the way it was feeling there for a bit. I mean, you got a 1-point steal in his round number 2. That, I think that definitely helped. And then you went perfect in your round number 2. I mean, you had to go to multiple choice on 1, but you got
just worried about the wording, so it's just like play it safe.
Totally get that. And then your the 2 that you had to answer in round number 3, totally. So once again, I don't know if you've realized this, Kelli, but in both of your matches, you've only missed 1 question.
So I've only missed 2 for the total. I think it's the 7th question as well. That's my downfall.
I think last time it was the 6th
package
7th.
It's like
question.
But it's like later in the first round, like almost
that second half, and those. I mean, like I said, right hand, left hand. It's 50-50, but that actually can make it harder.
Absolutely.
You only have 2 choices.
Yeah.
Whichever one you write down, it's going to be the other one. Like, it's always the way.
I will say, rule of thumb, 9 times out of 10, if something is impaired in movies, it's going to be the left. because most people are right dominant. And so if they're acting it, they're going to go with the left so that it doesn't hurt them as much.
That makes sense. As a lefty, I'll keep that in mind.
I was about to say, yeah, a little different for you, but yeah. So, yeah, I mean, 9 times out of 10, if somebody asks you where an eye patch is, it's on the left.
Left eye.
Yeah. But little education for everybody out there. Let's hope I don't have to ask about eye patches later. Because I may have just given away all the right answers there. But I mean, I gotta say, impressive match. I mean, you know, it came down to Chris's 5-pointer. Did you have any clue?
That was so difficult. That no, I really didn't know. He threw out an answer. I'm like, that could be right. Like, it sounded good to me.
Yeah. I mean, you know, for an American kid of the 90s, I actually know who that is, because she was the best friend on Blossom.
Mm-hmm.
He played 6 in Blossom.
Okay.
So yeah. But like I said, impressive match. You are now going forward in this tournament into round number 2, and you are going to be playing against Mr. VHS, Nazario Montenegro, who won in an upset against Caleb Boatman. So quite a match that we have coming up here. I mean, I don't think I'm wrong in saying that this match between the two of you could have been a championship match. This could have been the final. It's just the way that the brackets worked out. So how are you feeling going into that match with Nazario?
That's a tough one. Nazario's tough competition. I think we also fall a little bit in the same likes with our decades and movies and things like that. Sure. So I think it's going to be quite head to head of the same knowledge base and just who gets the better questions and who pulls it out on the day. Yeah. You never know. Well, one thing is for sure, that is going to be a match that nobody is going to want to miss. So definitely looking forward to seeing what happens then. But thanks again so much for being here today, Kelli. And we'll see you later. Oh, all right. So with that, the round number 1 is in the books. We have all of our round 2 matches confirmed. Definitely looking forward to round 2 of this tournament. But in order to see that, you're going to have to stay here. You're going to have to stay watching. And as always, move.
Moo.